Minister Modi touches down at Israel's Ben Gurion airport for the first time in 9 years since he was last there in 2017, meets with Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel and addresses the Israeli Knesset or parliament. There's a slew of issues that India and Israel are expected to take forward during this very quick 24-hour visit, from trade and labor flows to technology cooperation, as well as security and defense. The question really, is this visit about something more, a strategic framework that could encompass the region? And how could this impact India's carefully calibrated balance with West Asian countries? Let's look at 5 different areas to begin with. The question of whether this is a bilateral visit or something more. Prime Minister Netanyahu, speaking to his cabinet, spoke of a hexagonal alliance that he wanted to plan with India, with Greece, with Cyprus, and unnamed Arab, Asian, and African countries. The MEA has not responded to this proposal so far, but it'll be watched very closely as Netanyahu spoke about the need to counter the radical Islamic Shia and Sunni axes in the region. So clearly on target are countries like Iran, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Qatar, and others, all of whom will be watching India's moves very closely. Also, can they take forward the India, UAE, Israel, and the I2U2 with the US as well forward, that have fallen by the wayside since 2023 and all that followed? The second question will be about Iran and the war clouds gathering, really, with the US attack imminent. President Trump says he's still got space for diplomacy. But the big question is, if the US were to target Iran at this time, could Prime Minister Modi's visit get caught in the crossfires between Iran and Israel as well? Certainly, the Prime Minister's office and the government has spoken about his security being paramount, but it's also about the optics of being on one side of that divide when the other side gets targeted. There's also the direct relationship with Iran, which seems to have gone into a bit of a bilateral spiral over the last few years. India has given up oil, trade, and now perhaps the trading port at Chabahar as well is at risk from US sanctions. The question, will this now affect India-Iran relations as well? Iran, of course, a near neighbor. The fourth question about connectivity in the region, Chabahar being affected, also the international North-South Transport Corridor connectivity project that goes from India to Iran and on to Central Asia and even Russia. All of those at risk, as well as IMEC, the India-Middle East Europe Economic Corridor, that has actually faced geopolitical headwinds between Israel and the rest of West Asia, as well as the tensions between the UAE and Saudi Arabia, slowing it down. And fifth, the question of what Prime Minister Modi's visit to Israel really means for India's traditional partnership and support for Palestine. While the government insists that it remains consistent on its position on a two-state solution, on support for Palestine sovereignty, the truth is we've seen India's votes at the UN and support waver a little bit. In the last week, we saw India quite hesitant to join a statement that was critical of Israel's new plans to annex or control land in the West Bank. India has also not joined the US-led Board of Peace that's looking at reconstruction of Gaza and security there, but for the moment has chosen to be an observer. Can India continue to keep that balance, both physically and metaphorically, across the region? And how much will Prime Minister Modi's visit to Israel this year really impact all of that? We're going to track that very closely for you in New Delhi. For The Hindu, I'm Sahasini Haidar.